oh, hey, let's get a Splitty. I like to have a Splitty middle of the day, afternoon. What is a Splitty? It's espresso. But most of the time, we know today of a double espresso, something like 20 grams of coffee brewed into a demi-tasse or a small 4-ounce cup of coffee as American espresso. I like half of that, essentially a split group. So I call it a Splitty. I come here to one of the cafes, I get pillow fight, a single dose, a single coffee, and I split it with the barista because for me, it's really a great way to taste the espresso the way I intended to always taste it, as a single shot of espresso. Now, there are pluses and minuses to tasting a Splitty. There's a reason why I do it, obviously, and there's obviously a kind of a moment you have with someone who's having the other side of the shot with you. It's like a little Splitty moment. So I call it Splitty time, and it's just about noon now. Perfect time for a Splitty. And so my partner is gonna make a Splitty moment. Let's have a Splitty together, a split shot.
Good, baby.
All right, I can get this after one swirl, but actually you don't even really need to homogenize it in the shot glass. You can just shoot it down and you get the full impression of the coffee. I can hold the whole thing in my mouth, get everything I want out of it, and the barista can also taste the same coffee they gave me. It's a nice little moment. Well, what's great about a Splitty is, of course, you don't have to do a whole cup of coffee, a whole shot, and worry about your caffeine in the afternoon. It's just enough if you're wondering about your caffeine intake, which I always am. Later in life, it's harder for me to process that caffeine in the afternoon. I know some of you feel the same. But the other thing about it is I always want to taste my espresso in its purest form. It's hitting the marks. It gives me sweetness. Gives me a nice bittersweet laying on the tongue. That coating of the tongue is just right. The acidity I'm looking for, not too sharp an acidity. And I'm looking at both of the shots to see that they look the same because it's another level of difficulty, right? If you're pouring a double shot into one vessel, you kind of have that crutch of like it homogenizes eventually, especially if the guest is stirring the shot before they take it. Here it's pure, it's simple, it's straight up. Can the barista or whoever your friend, and in this case it's my partner and spouse who made me the shot, so I'm very comfortable telling him if it worked out for me, but are they gonna taste the same, and are you calibrated with, am I calibrated with the team? Did they like their shot? Because conceivably, or hopefully, the two shots should be identical. If they're not identical, maybe the barista has to work on the technique or distribution in the portafilter, all that stuff you all know about maybe better than I do since I've been off bar for 20 years or so already. But anyway, my shot was sweet. It's laying on my tongue well. I don't want to rinse with water for quite a while. It's going to sit there. I know it kind of sounds gross, but like you want that aftertaste to stay there for a while and give me that impression of how much sugar was in the shot. Sweetness, coating of the tongue, the acidity, the bitterness, which we like espresso for, the intensity that we like espresso before, what we like espresso for, but incredibly satisfying. Just one shot, straight down the hatch. So, moment of truth, how does yours taste?
And then medium, is it medium coffee?
Oh, the coffee, just like a small.
All right.
Do you always
It was a good moment. That was a nice moment. So why not take a double shot like everybody else does? Well, I have the luxury of being able to come here and ask the barista to take a moment with me. But also, the thing about a double shot is that you're going to get a layering of the extraction. So I have dense at the bottom, thinner and thinner towards the top. So unless I stir it, which most people store their espresso, unless I stir it really well and take some time to kind of mess with it a little bit, which will break down the crema and kind of change things a little bit. If I don't mess with it, then I have a different first sip than I would have the last sip. And that's just a note for you, maybe about how to drink your shots in the future. Make sure that you're stirring them. But that's another reason why I love splits. I like a single shot because I can get the whole thing in my mouth, and that all of that happens in my mouth at the same time.
Fabian, do you like a single or a double?
I like a single.
What do you like about it?
I like a single, like exactly what Trish was talking about. I think I'm getting a little bit older. I used to like a double, not anymore. I can just get a single shot. I'll be okay with it.
How you doing?